Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to be a film based within the sequel trilogy that will have a lot of major twists and turns as well as surprises in this film that will change our perception on all the 8 Star Wars movies that come before this one. Now, this is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie really has a lot going for it. It's going to have a lot of connections, not just to the prequel trilogy, but also to the original trilogy. That's really going to make this film feel like it comes full circle in order to truly fulfill the Skywalker saga in a very unique way. Now, another great thing is that we do know that George Lucas is involved with this movie, which we will be going over some new details about that. The other thing to look forward to is, of course, the new footage of Episode 9 that will be arriving this July of 2019 over at San Diego Comic-Con, so that's another thing to look forward to seeing. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the scenes shot during the month of December 2018 involved both Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, and Ian McDiarmid, where it's said to be a sequence based within the third act of the film, where Ian was providing and shouting lines of dialogue as Palpatine on set, where it said that George Lucas was working very closely with Ian for the most important scene involving Emperor Palpatine. It's described that George Lucas worked very close with Ian McDiarmid for multiple scenes involving Palpatine. However, it's said that Ian was not dressed as Palpatine for the scenes when George was on set. One of the sequences involved George Lucas guiding Ian to provide the perfect Palpatine laugh for a scene in the film that involved himself, Daisy, and Adam Driver, and was described to be an actor that appeared to be Matt Smith under a hood. Another sequence involved Ian McDiarmid being instructed on how to provide a certain scream for Palpatine on set, where George was also working with the new villain in the film, portrayed by what most likely was Matt Smith once again. It said that JJ suggested that George would work closely with Ian to perform the perfect Palpatine in the movie within the third act of Episode 9. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really great about Episode 9 is that not only is it going to be a very nostalgic movie, right? It's going to take us back to the originals and the prequels in different ways, but we also have the man himself, George Lucas, involved with this movie, the man who created the Star Wars franchise back in 1977, which is great. You know, I think that this is going to make the film feel more authentic as a Star Wars film. It's going to really make a lot of fans trust in the movie a bit more, I believe. You know, just knowing that George actually worked on set for numerous scenes, you know, even though he's not a main director, you know, he did have a lot of actual scenes that he worked on in Episode 9 between both, you know, the characters of Rey, Kylo, Luke, Palpatine, you name it. So this is great because we do know that at the end of the day, Ian McDiarmid worked with George Lucas plenty, you know, during the events of course, you know, when he was on set for the original trilogy and even for the prequel trilogy. So you can only imagine as to why J.J. Abrams needed George Lucas in order to work very close with Ian McDiarmid to provide the perfect Palpatine in Episode 9. So what does this really mean? Well, this basically means that we are going to get the perfect Palpatine that we all know and love from, of course, the originals and the prequels. Now, do I think that Palpatine is alive and well in the form of the Palpatine that we already know of in the prequels and the originals? Well, not necessarily. I think that there's going to be a twist to this all. You know, from all the leaks that we have been going over, it suggests that the new villain is either going to be possessed by Emperor Palpatine's spirit or is going to be a younger version of Palpatine himself, giving us a different version of Palpatine with the older voice provided by Ian McDiarmid. That's what it seems like, you know, is going to be the case for Episode 9. And that's the thing here. We do know that George is very, you know, in tune with The Rise of Skywalker. You know, he was involved with this movie on multiple occasions, you know, for scenes involving the Force Ghost of Luke and how that should be used, as well as the flash fight sequences between both Rey and Kylo. And now especially these scenes involving Emperor Palpatine where George Lucas was needed. And that, to me, I think it just speaks volumes that JJ, you know, really cares about this movie. He really does care about how he's going to end the entire Skywalker saga. This is historical, guys. You know, this really is just a big deal to both Disney and Lucasfilm, but also to the Star Wars community. So the fact that George is involved with this movie and worked very closely with Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, it really makes me trust in the character a lot more than ever before for Episode 9. So what do I think about this movie so far when it comes to how Palpatine is going to be used? Now, thankfully, what JJ and Kathleen Kennedy had to say is that Palpatine as a character is in fact going to live up to the hype. So he's not going to be a mere cameo, he's not going to be like a little tease here and there. This character is going to be significant to the story, as J.J. Abrams confirmed. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.